Good evening. It's Tuesday, July 16th. Welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. Grant Olson is away for the remainder of this week on some well-earned vacation. I'm Jefferson Robbins. The news has not been quiet in the last 24 hours. Here are a few of the stories we have coming up for you. The Chelan County Regional Justice Center is now under a judge's orders. Continue housing inmates arrested by Wenatchee police until a lawsuit over the jail's booking policies gets resolved. And ballots are either at your home or en route from your local auditor's office. Among your decisions, does Wanachi need a new sales tax to help improve its streets and roads? Another burst of heat is in the near-term forecast for the Wenatchee Valley. Before temperatures cool down just slightly for the weekend, Dan Kuntz and his fresh excuse for a goatee will be along a little bit later.
I get to do the weather forecast. Bear with me, folks.
With your full weather forecast. First, our top story tonight. A brush fire visible from around the valley broke out about 12:30 this afternoon, burning near the 3300 block of the Eastmont Avenue Extension, just south of Blue Grade Road in Douglas County. Fire crews, including aerial teams, were quick on the attack. The fire spread quickly and forced Level 2 evacuation notices for homes on Blue Grade and Cougar Ridge Road. Authorities were close to controlling the flames by the mid-afternoon. Those with homes in the area are advised to keep updated on the latest conditions and be prepared to leave if the situation changes. All others are asked to stay clear so fire responders can do their work. Well, the Chelan County Jail must continue to house people arrested by the city of Wenatchee while a lawsuit over jail services goes forward. Chelan County Judge Travis Brandt ruled on Tuesday that the jail contract between the city and county will remain in force beyond the August 28th deadline that the county had set to withdraw from the agreement. Wenatchee filed a lawsuit against Chelan County on March 31st, alleging that the jail was refusing to book some inmates brought in by city police on low-level offenses, and had turned down offers from the city to increase the amount it pays for contract inmates from $1.6 million up to $2.2 million a year. Chelan County then served the city notice that it would terminate the contract next month. The city alleges the county's actions violated state law, and it's suing to force the county into arbitration to craft a new contract. Brandt's ruling on Tuesday means the jail must continue to accept city inmates until a new agreement is reached. The city of Leavenworth has hired Seattle-based ARC Architects as lead consultant for a downtown parking garage feasibility and design project. The project aims to develop plans for a new parking facility downtown in the Bavarian Village, factoring in such issues as location and environmental impact. The city says that ARC was selected for the project due to its proven track record and innovative approach. The firm will work with city officials and project stakeholders to obtain site survey data, conduct a feasibility study, and develop preliminary designs for the new parking facility. This would be the first parking structure developed for Leavenworth, which attracts an estimated 2 million tourists annually. Both drivers were issued citations in a two-car rollover wreck near the intersection of South Wenatchee Avenue and South Viewdale Avenue yesterday. Wenatchee police say it was around 2 p.m. when one vehicle crossed over the center line and struck another vehicle, causing it to roll onto its top. Nearby witnesses reported the crash to Rivercom and were able to get both drivers out of their vehicles. The driver of the causing vehicle was cited for improper lane travel and driving without insurance or a license. The second driver was ticketed for driving without insurance. Both sustained only minor injuries. When we come back, a pair of Grant County auto accidents leaves several people injured, including a 17-year-old driver who fell asleep at the wheel. I'm Jefferson Robbins, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
There's no place like home, because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories, and we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Call Alpine Air Heating and Cooling today. Your comfort is their priority.
Welcome to the summer of good. Good people, good taste, good vibes, and good, well, everything. When you're ready for some old-fashioned good, Abby's is your place. We've been celebrating summers around the P&W for over 60 years. At Abby's, good is a legendary tradition.
Holy pepperoni, Abby Man. It's the hometown hero bursting onto the scene this July at a special price, starring classic pepperoni, green peppers, and Italian sausage. One bite and wham. Don't miss the summer's biggest blockbuster. The hometown hero has arrived at Abby's.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. Voters in the city of Wenatchee will have their say over the next 2 weeks on a proposed sales tax to pay for local transportation improvements. The Chelan County Auditor's Office mailed all ballots to eligible voters on Tuesday. The question on the August 5th ballot would create a transportation benefit district encompassing the entire city, where purchases would be subject to a 0.2% sales tax over the next 10 years. The tax would go into effect January 1st if it's approved, and then sunset after 2035. The new revenues would go towards street upgrades identified in the city's Transportation Improvement Program. 3 juveniles were injured in a single-car crash near George on Tuesday after a 17-year-old driver fell asleep at the wheel. The Washington State Patrol says at roughly 8 p.m., the 2013 Toyota Camry was traveling westbound on Interstate 90 when the driver fell asleep. The vehicle left the roadway and rolled before coming to rest in the median ditch. The passengers, ages 10, 14, and 15, all from Pasco, were transported to Quincy Valley Hospital for their injuries. The 10-year-old and 14-year-old had not been wearing their seatbelts. The driver was uninjured and charged with negligent driving in the 2nd degree. Well, no sooner had fire departments around Omak gotten control of the Green Acres fire than a second set of brush fires kicked off on Tuesday. The S-turn fire was actually 2 fire incidents that broke out at mid-morning and then merged overnight, one starting near Moomaw Road, the other near the 12 Tribes Casino. The flames sparked level 2 evacuation warnings for nearby residents, but by 9 o'clock this morning, wildland crews had managed to encircle the fires and all evacuations were lifted. No injuries or structure losses were reported. A rollover crash near Wilson Creek in rural Grant County left a driver injured after she was thrown from her vehicle Monday afternoon. The Washington State Patrol says 45-year-old Stella Scholl of Wilson Creek was traveling east in a 2003 Honda Civic when she veered onto the right shoulder on Highway 28, then overcorrected and flipped the car. Scholl was ejected from the vehicle and injured. Troopers say she was not wearing a seatbelt at the time of the crash. Well, coming up next, the Douglas County Museum in Waterville has long displayed part of the region's history on its large outside wall. But when history starts to show its age, what do? You call in a little art therapy. Weather-wise, a little ocean air may blow into our neighborhood in time for the weekend, offering a little cool down. Dan Kuntz does his best Grant Olson impression as he brings you our full forecast coming up.
Between juggling groceries, preparing meals, and lending a helping hand, you're a hero without a cape. But who's there to support you? Aging and Adult Care honors caregivers like you, the relatives, friends, and neighbors, helping loved ones remain safely at home. Aging and Adult Care offers chore services, respite, personal care, and more. Serving Chelan, Douglas, Grant, Lincoln, Adams, and Okanagan counties, call Aging and Adult Care at 1-800-572-4459 for caregiver support.
Central Washington Water understands the power of healing waters. If part of your wellness routine includes hot heat from a sauna, Central Washington Water now carries indoor and outdoor infrared and hot rock saunas by Tilo. Research shows there are many health benefits to a cold plunge after a good workout or relaxing time in your sauna. Harness the power of water in a hot spring spa, plug-and-play spas, a Tilo sauna, or a cold plunge tub. Stop by Central Washington Water, your wellness experts.
The pitch by Busich.
Wenatchee Apple Sox are back on the NCWLIFE channel. Watch as they take on the Nanaimo Night Owls Friday, July 18th. Coverage brought to you by our Platinum supporter, Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. Also by Abby's Pizza, Apple Valley Honda, Biosports Physical Therapy, Coldwell Banker Cascade Real Estate, Global Car Care, Harvest Valley Pest Control, and Highlander Golf Course and Grill. Your exclusive television home for Apple Sox baseball is the NCWLIFE channel.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. Museums have a mission to depict history, and the Douglas County Museum in Waterville puts that town's history front and center. The exterior wall of the museum has long been home to a mural by Manson artist Ron McGowie, depicting the tram line that was used to haul wheat and other goods up and down between the Waterville Plateau and the Columbia River. But time took its toll on the mural, and recently I visited Waterville to meet the artist who was hired to re-envision it, Coulee City painter Don Nutt.
I'm Don Nutt. I'm a professional artist from Coulee City, Washington. The majority of what I do would be local landscapes. I grew up here. Well, I grew up in Coulee City, and so I'm inspired by, the whole Big Bend country, the Waterville Plateau, the basin. It's all very inspiring to me. But I'm also inspired by historical work as well. Very much a student of history. They wanted to replace this mural. It had been here for 30 years, was starting to get a little deteriorated. So rather than just repaint what was there, I wanted to do my own interpretation of it. This is the old wheat tram, 1902 to 1910, I believe, that carried wheat down to the Columbia River where they would load steamships. And that was the best, or really the only way to get their crops to market at that time.
It is a huge part of our history. It really is. Only 8 years, they built it. They built it in 1902 in the warm months, and then come fall, it was ready to run, and it ran 9,000 foot of cable down that 1,700 foot drop from here down to the Columbia River. And we have pictures of huge stacks of wheat sacks laying on the dock down there and laying on the operational house up here, and it was able to move 600-pound bags of wheat in one of those little buckets laying there beside the building, and a few boys. they like to take a circus ride down to the bottom and come back after fishing. But the hardware goods, the coal, lumber, the building supplies were able to come up here. Getting here was very difficult. The one road down to Orondo had a 22% grade, and they called it Dead Horse Hill for a reason. And there just wasn't a good way in and out because of the way that this whole plateau sits on a rock base.
I did a preliminary painting. We gridded everything out. Working on something that's large like this, you wind up having to do quite a bit of that to make sure everything is the way it's supposed to look. As far as the painting, we worked on it 10 days for the most part. I think today is day 12. I did have an assistant on this project, Emma Buchanan, and she worked out really well. So I'm hoping she'll start doing murals on her own now. I went out and took photos on site for this project, but we had to use a little artistic license on it. From where this view is, I don't believe you can actually see the Columbia at that point. So we wanted all the elements in there. We had to fudge a little bit, but we also want it to be historically accurate as possible too. Someone asked me the other day how many murals I've done, and I've never really thought about it. I've never considered myself any kind of a muralist, but after thinking about it, I started counting up some of the ones I could remember, and I quit counting at 50. And so I've been telling everybody since then I'm a very experienced non-muralist.
Dan Coons filling in for Grant Olson. Boy, that guy needs to take some time off, and he is taking some time off. So luckily, I get to do the weather forecast. Bear with me, folks. I barely know what I'm doing in the morning show. Beautiful view of the Wenatchee Valley. These are the kind of days that you just want to remember when it's January and February and it's cold and gray. Well, this is the playback. We get days like today. It's just a gorgeous day today. Warm, but not too hot from our Wenatchee Valley Heights camera, sometimes referred to as the cross camera, sometimes referred to as Jerry, because you have to call it something. Here's a quick look at the next 7 days for you folks who don't necessarily watch us in the Wenatchee Valley. So you folks in Omak, Moses Lake, other places as well. This is what you're looking at for your high temperatures and low temperatures over the next 7 days. As you can see, everybody's going to be peaking as far as temperatures are concerned on Friday before a little marine air pushes in for the weekend. It's going to cool us back down to about normal. So these are areas outside of the Wenatchee Valley. All right, so for today, unofficially up at Pangbourne, 94 degrees, a couple of degrees warmer than it was yesterday. We had 88, as you know by now, on both Monday and Tuesday. A little warmer today, going to be a little warmer tomorrow. And look at the days, getting a little bit shorter. We're losing almost 2 minutes of daylight every day now as we get closer and closer to August. In fact, it is closer to August now than it was to June. All right, tomorrow's highs. Let's see, 96 in Moses Lake, 96 in Ephrata. If I sing any more, we have to pay royalties. 96 across the board. Quincy, the Valley will be at 96. Omak, ironically enough, is going to be a little bit cooler than the rest of us. Normally they're a degree or two warmer, but tomorrow they're going to be dealing with a little bit of wind. We're not going to have a lot of wind until we get to Friday afternoon and really Friday night. So Omak is kind of the outlier here at only 92 degrees tomorrow. They'll be just a little bit cooler. All right, so we're between two high pressure systems. There's one out there. That one's not going to go anywhere. And there's one right where my head is. And that's going to move around a little bit. And that's why, but it's still going to amplify our temperatures, which is why we see this gradual warming trend. Again, that high pressure out in the Pacific Ocean will eventually start to affect our weather once we get to the weekend. In the meantime, we're just going to see pretty warm temperatures up to 96 tomorrow, as we already mentioned, and some locations in our viewing area, especially on the Columbia Basin. I'm looking at you, Moses Lake. Hi, by the way. You could be 100 degrees on Friday. It's a distinct possibility. You can see there's that little loop, that little low pressure ridge. That's a closed low, not really going to affect our temperatures. If anything, it might amplify it a little bit. And then once we get to Friday night into Saturday, that high pressure ridge is going to start taking some of that marine air from the British Columbia area, and it's going to start pushing into our area, and it's going to cool us down a little bit. The trade-off, a little breezy, but the weekend looks quite comfortable. Gobs of sunshine for everybody, a little breezy at times, high of about 90, 63 for the overnight low, so you might be able to open your windows if you choose to do so. Saturday, Sunday, just about the same. Little breezy at times on Saturday, not so much on Sunday. We'll top off right about 90 degrees on Sunday as that marine air works its way in. And that's kind of going to be the case really into Monday, Tuesday, even on into Wednesday. What we really need is rain. We have not had measurable rain at Pangbourne since May 25th, and even on that day, we only had 1/100th of an inch of rain. We need rain. There ain't a drop to be had in the forecast. Once that marine air pushes in and gets settled in, we're just going to see lots of sunshine, a little breeze here and there, topping off about 90 degrees, about normal for this time of the year. Overnight lows in the mid-60s, and this pattern is going to continue really long-term right on in for most of next week. The computer models are in agreement. It's just going to be sunny and mild with a little bit of wind here and there for the foreseeable future. So here's your forecast in detail. 94 our high today, 67 the overnight low tonight. We'll get to 96 on Thursday. Then we pop it up to 98 on Friday. If you're going to the AllStar game, be prepared. Going to be a little warm. And then, as we already mentioned, that marine air will start pushing in Friday night. Saturday, outside of a little bit of wind, very comfortable. 90, 90, 90, 90. It is typical mid-July weather. At your weather forecast, Eric Granstrom has sports right around the corner. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
I'm Jen Mueller. Watch for my show, I Cook, You Measure on NCWLIFE. It's part cooking instruction, part entertainment, and all about connecting over food and wine with your favorite Northwest athletes.
Watch I Cook, You Measure with Jen Mueller Mondays at 1, Wednesdays at 2, Fridays at 11 a.m., and Saturday and Sundays at 10:30 p.m. right here on the NCWLIFE channel.
The pitch by Busich.
Wenatchee Apple Sox are back on the NCWLIFE channel. Watch as they take on the Nanaimo Night Owls Friday, July 18th. Coverage is brought to you in part by Kennedy Real Estate Group, Les Schwab, Sangster Motors, Save Mart, Tacos Chava, Together for Youth, and Valley Tractor. Your exclusive television home for Apple Sox baseball, NCWLIFE channel, your local TV station.
What do you think of that?
Pretty big, I like it.
Watch for new episodes of The Northwest Outdoorsman on the NCWLIFE channel, your local TV station.
And a good Wednesday to you. For the first time in Major League history, the All-Star Game was settled by a home run swing-off. Kyle Schwarber hit 3 home runs with 3 swings in the swing-off to give the National League a 7-6 win. It was the first use of a new rule by Major League Baseball to determine an All-Star Game that ends in a tie after 9 innings. National League jumped out to a 6-0 lead before the American League came back to tie it in the 9th to send it to the home run swing-off.
Consecutive year for the NL. Down the line and a fair ball, and the National League wastes no time. Ohtani can jog in, and an extra base hit from Marte. Here comes Acuna. A 2-run double, 2-0 NL. Manny Machado to the plate. Ball down. Oh, what do you think? Yeah. I don't know if it can come from the. It can't come from the dugout, but it can come from the booth. I think it's going to work.
Let's see, Kyle. How'd you do? I think it's a strike.
Automated balls and strikes powered by T-Mobile's network.
That's messed up. Hey, you take them any way you can get them, boys.
Always had the home runs, but he's hitting 280 this year, and he's showing off that home run power here. It is gone. Pete Alonso goes the other way. A 3-run shot to break it open.
The ball to right field here will go and see the tall wall and the fence, but right field is where you get the most carry here in this stadium, and that's a big 3-run homer.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, it's unbelievable environment here. Great job from the guys in front of me. I mean, Toddy had an unbelievable beat. Donnie hustling out a single there. I mean, unbelievable base running from this guys.
Mize DeCarroll with the 1-2 and a high fly ball to deep right center field. Corbin Carroll leans into this one for a home run. Little man, but big time pop. Corbin Carroll, 5'10", 165 pounds. 21 home runs, though, already this season. And he's got one here in the All-Star Game. Comes home to Brent Rooker. It's been tough to hit. Fastball is hit hard in the air to left center field. Back goes Stowers. It is gone. The American League is on the board on a home run from Brent Rooker. And we bookend honoring Hammer and Hank with these guys hammering the ball in the All-Star Game. 2 home runs for the National League in the bottom of the 6th. And now Rooker launches a sky-scraping blast here in the 7th. Get a new one. Ground ball past the mound. This will get his teammate in third, and it's a 6-4 game as Witt grounds out to second. 1 gone in the 9th inning. Bobby Witt Jr. represents the tying run. Reaches out, gets to that ball, and bangs it down the line into the corner. Buxton in to score. Witt is headed to second, and it's a 1-run game. Stephen Kwan coming up as the last hope. 2-2. Puts it in play. Left side. Going to be a tough one. This game is tied. The American League has come all the way back from down 6-0. With a pair of runs here in the 9th, they've tied it at 6. On an 0-2. Takes just outside, and a challenge coming here. They're getting used to this.
This is a pitcher challenge.
It was a warning that I gave to a lot of pitchers. Be careful if you're the pitcher challenging a ball.
Hey,
he may have gotten it.
And that will end the inning. Everybody with a smile. Donovan making him work. 7th pitch coming here. Taps it. Fair. That is a fair ball, and that is a 6-6 tie through 9 innings. Dan Iasonia the call. His work is done.
Watch this. This has so much spin. Look at the spin. He's waiting for it, and on the line. And he's like, really? Cue ball.
All right, folks, here's how this is going to work. A home run swing off to decide the All-Star Game. There's a drive off of the bat of Arozarena. How far does this one go? Plenty deep.
This will put so much pressure if he can get the 3-run lead.
Gets under this one to center. I don't know. Yep, falls shy of the track. So 3-1 midway through the 2nd round. Eyes all burning holes through you. Schwarber in the air to center field, headed towards the wall, and to dead center.
That's huge for the National League.
So there you go. You said if he could get it on his first swing, and he did. Oh! Schwarber's in the All-Star Game. Oh! Tied at 3.
That's MVP material if he gets the 3rd one right here.
AL rallied in the game. NL has rallied in the swing. With the hat trick. Look out, Chop House. National League takes the lead 4-3. Last chance coming. Down to this swing for the American League. Aranda slices a fly ball to left center field, headed towards the wall, but short, and the National League wins it in the first swing off.
Cal Raleigh finished the game 1 for 2. Randy Rosarina 0 for 3, but did hit a home run in that swing-off. Brian Wu and Andres Munoz each pitched no-run innings. Mariners are back home against Houston Friday at T-Mobile Park. The game is slated for a 7:10 start time, with the starting pitchers yet to be determined. Mariners trail Houston by 5 games in the American League West at the All-Star break. Seattle's nearly exactly where they were a year ago. Also hosted Houston following the Midsummer Classic. Angels are in Philadelphia Friday, while the A's are in Cleveland, and Texas is hosting Detroit. Now let's go back to last year. While the Mariners are 51-45 so far this season, they were 52-44 at this point a year ago and led Houston by a game in the AL West. Following the break in 2024, Seattle went 12-19 in the month that followed and fell out of first place. Scott Service fired as manager. As the West Coast League prepares for its All-Star Game tonight in Bellingham, several teams were in non-league action on Tuesday. Corvallis beat the Girding Builders Marketmen 11-2. The CCL Showcase team edged Springfield 6-5. Port Angeles continued its struggles, falling to the Dub C Fish Dick 7-2. Bend beat the Northwest Star Nighthawks 13-5. Nanaimo beat a local team of select players 3-2. Victoria stopped the SIBL All-Stars 11-1, and the Marion Berries beat the Portland Gherkins by a final of 8-4. Cade Martinez is now the only shortstop on the WCL North All-Star team after Edmonton's Robert Phelps had to drop out. We'll see if he plays the entire game tonight. Apple Sox players helping on the mound will be pitchers Carson Bozel, Joe Thornton, and Mitch Haythorne. West Coast League All-Star Game gets underway tonight at 6:35 at Joe Martin Field in Bellingham. WCL North coach Ed Nags has named Bell's pitcher Devin Hernandez to start, while South coach Mark Magdalano will go with Portland right-hander Steven Verispe. The game will be streamed live on MLB.com with Tyler Mon on the play-by-play, joined in the booth by former Mariner pitcher Ryan Roland Smith as analyst. That's a check of sports news. I'm Eric Granstrom. Have a happy Wednesday.
And that will do it for our newscast tonight. For more news from around North Central Washington, you can find us at NCWLIFE.com, on our social media channels, or on our mobile app for iPhone and Android. And remember, if you see news happening we would like to hear from you, email us, news@ncwlife.com, or call 888-6295. That's 888-NCWL. I'm Jefferson Robbins. Thanks so much for being with us. You'll see me again tomorrow night.
BC Outdoor Sport Fishing TV, Season 14. Join your host Mike Mitchell and his special guests as they explore some of the most exciting fisheries BC has to offer. BC Outdoors Sport Fishing TV. Check your listings for airtimes.
The pitch by Busich. Wenatchee Apple Sox are back on the NCWLIFE channel. Watch as they take on the Nanaimo Night Owls Friday, July 18th. Coverage brought to you by our Platinum supporter, Alpine Air Heating and Cooling. Also by Abby's Pizza, Apple Valley Honda, Biosports Physical Therapy, Coldwell Banker Cascade Real Estate, Global Car Care, Harvest Valley Pest Control, and Highlander Golf Course and Grill. Your exclusive television home for Apple Sox baseball is the NCWLIFE channel.
NCWLIFE channel is your local TV station. We believe in being the spotlight and mirror to the communities we serve in North Central Washington. Programming on NCWLIFE would not be possible without our sponsors. Special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Alpine Air. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Alpine Air.